All the great marketing that you do, whether it's paid advertisement, organic, collaborations, TV, direct mail, social media, all of that is useless if you can't convert the lead into a paying client or customer.
Welcome to the Bedros Keuilian Show.
Guys, welcome to the Bedros Keuilian Show. Today's episode is all about what you need to do in business to become a millionaire. So without further ado, let's kick this episode off. Now, I've had the good fortune over the last 20 years to build multiple businesses, a couple of them 8- and 9-figure businesses. I've even been able to sell 2 of those businesses. And so I've had the blessings to be able to grow businesses and make the money that's given me and my family time, freedom, and the experiences that we get to enjoy in life. And I want the same thing for you. And a business will help you get there. So if you own a business and you're like, how do I become a millionaire? How do I create wealth so we can have time, freedom, and experiences? I'm going to share that strategy with you here, because also I would be remiss if I didn't tell you that I've created businesses that have absolutely crashed and burned. The businesses were horrible. The marketing was horrible. There was no space for it in the marketplace. And I've learned so many things from that I'm going to give you the blueprint. And if you follow this blueprint, you will have a business that is successful and sets you up to be a millionaire. So let's jump right into it. Thing number 1 you want to do right off the bat is you want to create a product or service that is both needed and wanted. If your product is not needed and wanted, if it's a optional thing, then you're going to have a harder time selling it. But if you can create a product or service that solves a problem that people have, that gives them the opportunity to live a better life, to make more money, get fit, to increase the quality of their life, and it is a need and a want, you have hit the magic button, right? And I'll give you a great example. Many years ago, Craig Ballantyne and I ran a mastermind. Gosh, this was like 15 years ago. And in this mastermind, we had many great coaching clients. But one day we were onboarding some new coaching clients, and we interviewed them first to make sure that their product and services was going to be a good fit for us to help them take to market before we invite them into the mastermind. And Craig Ballantyne actually took this particular coaching or prospective coaching client call. And at the end of it, he obviously did not bring the guy on board into our mastermind because the guy's product was, believe it or not, how to get fit while ironing. You heard that right. How to get fit while ironing. And Craig recounted the story to me, and he said, dude, I was just on a phone with the guy who wanted to join our mastermind, and he's got a product that helps you get fit while ironing. And I was like, Craig, you've got to tell me what this product is. He goes, basically, while you're ironing, to also use the iron as a form of resistance because everyone's got to iron. Now, there's a great example of something that people don't necessarily need or want. Like, who the fuck wants to iron anything, right? Like, I get it. If you really, really have to, you're going to iron something, maybe your favorite dress clothes or something once a month to wear somewhere. But in reality, these days, most people are not ironing anything. That's not a need. You don't necessarily need to iron things, and that's not a want. And you could take it to the dry cleaners, you could take it to the tailor, and they'll do the ironing for you. And so this guy had a product that was not based on a need or a want. He was just trying to become efficient. And that's what he told Craig. He says, well, you know, I iron my clothes every day, because he had a career that required very perfectly pressed clothing. And so he thought everyone could get fit while also ironing. Not necessary. And of course, we did not take him on as a client, and I never saw the product get launched. So hopefully the conversation with Craig led him to abandoning that product or service and moving on to something else. The next thing you want to do once you have a product that has a strong need or a want by a specific population is you want to differentiate from everything else that's out there, right? In other words, if your product is not different than what else is out there, then you find yourself in a place where you're considered a Me Too product, right? It's like, hey, I help people get rich. I help people get fit. I help people stop smoking. And then there's like, well, me too, and me too, and me too. And if you have a Me Too product means you're going to have Me Too pricing, meaning your pricing cannot be any different than what everybody else's, which means what? Now we become you get to this place where you have pricing wars, right? And if you see yourself as a commodity at that point, because you've got the same product, you've got the same product, you've got the same product, then all of a sudden you're having to lower your prices to attract a customer or client. And that means you're going to have to take this race to the bottom. What I mean is you're going to have to take this race to the bottom. In other words, whoever charges the least is going to get the client, which means no one wins the race to the bottom, because every time you lower your prices to compete against your competition so that you can make more money and win that sale, you're eroding your profit margins, right? And so if you can differentiate your product by having it stand out. Now, I know what you think. You're like, yeah, but what if I'm better certified? I have more experience. Well, if you can quantify that in your marketing message, great. You can differentiate in many ways. You can differentiate by saying, look, my product works faster. My product works better. And here's proof by celebrities, pro athletes, influencers, whatever, right? But if you cannot make your thing stand out more than everyone else's, one of the best examples out there was back in 2007 when the iPhone came out. Every phone out there had a hinge, right? It was a flip phone. You remember most phones out there back then had flip phones, the hinges. And these phones, they're not really connected to the internet well. They were kind of clunky. They didn't have a touch screen. And then iPhone was like, you know what? We're not going to have a hinge. It's going to be a flat phone. It's going to be sexy. It's going to work as a Palm Pilot, like a PDA, personal daily assistant, and a phone and a calendar and a computer to browse the web. They differentiated their phone, the iPhone, so much that they absolutely crushed all the competitors out there, right? So the fact that you can differentiate your product or service, even in a competitive market, you can, but you have to really dive deep and figure out what makes my product different. And whatever that one thing is, hammer it home so that you can be seen as a premium product and you can charge what you want versus having to charge what everyone else is charging and then lower your prices just to compete for the customer. Hey guys, quick interruption to the Bedros Keuilian Show. Listen, if you're like me and you love fitness, you love helping people, and you love being an entrepreneur, you might want to open up a Fit Body Bootcamp gym. Doesn't matter what day of the week, what time the session is, Fit Body Bootcamp locations are full of clients getting amazing results. With hundreds of locations across the United States and Canada, we are helping people burn fat and build muscle while helping entrepreneurs like you develop business models that are successful and have recurring revenue. So if you think Fit Body Bootcamp might be a great business model for you, then I want you to go to fitbodybootcamp.com. I want you to click the franchising link, fill out the application to see if there's a territory available in your town, in your area. And who knows, if you're a good fit, we will invite you to the Fit Body Bootcamp family. Now back to the show. The next thing after that is, once you've got a product that is needed and wanted by people and a product that you can differentiate from everything else on the market, the next thing after that is to clearly identify your avatar. Who is the person that makes the ideal customer or client? Now, if you're like, man, I can sell my product to everybody, males and females, 8 to 80, I'm telling you, you can't. The tighter you can dial in your avatar, your target market, the better. So what is their gender? What is their age? What is the lifestyle that they live? What are their fears, their frustrations, their desires? Like, if you can picture your avatar, if you can give him or her a name, you could see their age, their lifestyle, where they live, what keeps them motivated, why they would want your product. Now you could speak to their fears, frustrations, and desires in your marketing message. And if you could do that, and by clearly identifying who your avatar is, you start marketing to that specific guy or gal, and then everyone else on the perimeter who buys, great. But you want to market to that guy or gal that's on the bullseye, because now you can speak specifically to their desires, needs, and frustrations, right? It's kind of like this. Think about this. Subaru somehow markets perfectly to lesbians. You look at every lesbian out there who drives a Subaru and you're like, oh, all right. Yeah, lesbian, drives a Subaru, wears one of those sandals that have a heel strap. Check, got it. Like, they know who their avatar is, and they do a great job marketing to lesbians. And so moving on to the next thing, what you need to do is create that irresistible offer, right? So how do you create an irresistible offer? Well, thing number one you need to do is understand that your offer needs to be so big in value where cost becomes a non-issue, right? And so Joe Sugarman, back in the day, he created the blue blocker sunglasses. He coined the term irresistible offer. I think this was like in the early 2000s, 2002, 2003. He coined the term irresistible offer because he was putting himself in a position where he said, my blue blocker sunglasses have more value than the actual cost. And he would stand on the boardwalks of all these different beaches, and he would send teams out to all these different places, and he would say, hey, take off those Ray-Bans, take off those Maui gyms, and try our sunglasses on, right? Outside at the beach. And as soon as they would put their glasses on, he would put the microphone to them and go, how clear is it? How awesome is the vision? Do you have to squint anymore? No? Great. not only do you get a second pair for this price, but after X number of days, like I think it was 30 day or 60 day, if you don't love it like the day you got it, we'll give you a full money back refund, right? And so when the irresistible offer is so compelling, where value exceeds cost, you have hit the nail on the head. One of the things about an irresistible offer is this. You've got to put yourself in a position where you can not only increase value over cost, but you also put yourself in a position that you can give a risk reversal. Think how many times people have been ripped off. All the times that people have been ripped off because they saw a product or service, they bought it, and then the product or service did not meet the expectations or did not meet the promise that the marketing offered, right? And then they went to say, hey, I want a refund. They go, sorry, no refunds. So people are very resistant to products and services that don't have a refund. So if your product really is different, it's better, it delivers the results, back it up with the risk reversal. That is part of your irresistible offer. And when you increase the value and overcome the cost factor, people would be functionally stupid to say no. That, my friend, becomes your irresistible offer. And finally, you've got to be a machine at marketing and selling, because you could have a product that is needed and wanted. You can differentiate the hell out of it. You can make it so unique and special and target to a very specific avatar and market. You can create an irresistible offer. But if you are not putting it in front of the audience, if you are not using organic content creation, YouTube, podcasts, social media, stages, print ads, direct mail, radio, television, to get your product or service in front of your avatar and get it in a way where the marketing cost is managed and you are tracking the ROAS, right? Your return on ad spend. So if I spend $1, I want to get $2 or more back. I don't want to spend $1 and get $1 back, or spend $1 and get 80 cents back, because obviously I'm not in the business of losing money. And so you've got to learn how to market and sell your product, because if you are attracting leads through great marketing, but you're not converting those leads into paying clients and customers, let's say if you have a widget, something under $100, you might just be able to sell it off a website. Maybe even if it's a couple $100 and it's easy to understand, there's no complexity in what the product is. It's easy to sell it off a website, right? No big deal. But what if you have a high ticket offer, right? What if you have a high ticket premium one-on-one coaching offer that's like $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $10,000, right? Or more? Then you're gonna have to get on the phone and do some selling. And so if you don't know how to sell, all that marketing you did and the dollars that you spent on marketing are going to go to waste. And you're going to say, well, I guess I attracted the wrong leads, or people are telling me that they're broke. They need to go think about it. They need to go talk to their spouse. They need to look at their finances. They're supposed to give you objections. That's part of the sales process. Your job is to do a presentation over the phone, on Zoom, face-to-face, that is so effective that you overcome those objections before they ever present themselves. And if you don't know how to sell, it is time for you to invest in a sales course or sales training program, or watch a whole bunch of free YouTube videos out there that teach you how to sell and overcome objections and create a very slippery slope, a path from taking that prospect to the sale and making them a client or customer, right? Otherwise, like I said, all the great marketing that you do, whether it's paid advertisement, organic, collaborations, TV, direct mail, social media, all of that is useless if you can't convert the lead into a paying client or customer. So with that in mind, if you follow these steps, guys, I'm telling you, as someone that has built multiple multi-million-dollar companies, scaled them and sold some of them, I want to see you win. I want to see you grow your business. And if you want me to coach you and teach you how to do this through great marketing, sales, processes, systems, leadership, and helping you create a differentiation for your product or service, and helping you create that irresistible offer, and then teaching you how to get that marketing message in front of the masses so that you can sell your product and service and become a millionaire, then maybe you might be a great fit for my Domination Your Coaching client. So if you just click the link in my description box, or if you just go to bedroskeuilian.com, you could learn all about my coaching program. And if we're a good fit, I'd be more than happy to coach you and help you scale. So with that said, never underestimate the power of a great product, differentiation, an irresistible offer, and super effective marketing and sales. And always remember this, that average is the enemy. Success is your responsibility, and change can take place in an instant if you are willing to flip the switch. See you next time.